All right, well, let's get with the football part of it. Once again, I'm Charlie Coiner, and we're going to cover the jet sweep tonight. I've got Kendall Etcho here with me. And once again, if you've got questions, just go to the chat area, put them in. Kendall will take note of them. You don't have to wait till the end. We'll take all the time that we need tonight to get to every question that we have. So first thing I need to do here is shrink my screen down, get over to the right page. We'll be off and running. Let me also, the hardest parts I have usually, guys, or coaches, is getting the Zoom part of it right. Okay, the jet sweep. Now, the first thing to note is that the jet sweep, what's the definition of a jet sweep? All right, a jet sweep is a sweep that essentially is coming across the formation relatively close to the line of scrimmage. Don't confuse a jet sweep with an around that comes with motion. You've got orbit motion and you're deep back here. That's a different play. A jet sweep, the idea of the jet sweep is that you're going to attack the defense with speed. Now, what is speed? Speed's going to be relative. It's going to be relative to what your team is, but it's also going to be relative to who you're playing. So if you're in the NFL, if you're in college, that jet sweep is going to look a lot different than if you're coaching 6, 7, 8-year-olds. So do not try to emulate that sweep that you're seeing on TV with kids that age. It's just not going to work. The ball's going to be on the ground. You're going to get frustrated with it. But now I'm not telling you that you can't run a jet sweep. There's just different versions of it. And I've got 4 or 5 different versions. But what I've started with right here is just a good old-fashioned double wing, quarterback underneath the center to where, pretty much any age group could run this. And this is a jet sweep you're looking at. Now, the same thing still apply for a jet sweep. You're still looking to get to the perimeter, all right, with speed. So obviously you don't want to run a jet sweep with someone that's not capable of running it. The 3-back in this case right here needs to be a fast player. The second thing that you're going to look for a jet sweep is just the execution of it. How are you going to execute a jet sweep? Normally, the way you run a jet sweep is everybody is going to full zone, all right, to the play side. What do I mean by full zone? I mean you're going to drop step with the play side foot, put it in the ground, and really just take off running. Get some width right here, because the jet sweep runner is not going to stop till they get to the edge. So you don't need to, you don't need to be worrying as much about penetration, because 9 times out of 10, a jet sweep is going to get outside of any penetration, particularly on the backside. And I'm even going to show you where some people don't even block the end man on the line of scrimmage. Okay, so the scheme is going to be a big part of it too, all right, as far as up front, because you've got some people that will zone to it, some will zone away from it, and I'll show you more complicated versions as we go. Now, the part that you need to be very aware of as a youth football coach is back here. Now, once again, I have the quarterback under center here. I highly recommend that with young players, because now what you're going to get, you can get this 4-back or your fullback to cheat up. You can actually get that fake. That's going to hold these linebackers, all right, and allow your offensive line to get a hat on the second level defenders. Now, that's the first thing it's going to do. The second thing it's going to do, it's going to allow to keep everything in tight quarters here as far as your execution in the backfield. I'm going to show you some plays tonight, all right, where the quarterback is back here. You're bringing the player in motion, and that has to time up. If you don't time that up, coaches, the ball is going to be on the ground. Once again, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to give up on the play, and that would be a shame, because it is a good football play. So understand that it is there are the positives about a jet sweep, and I've actually made notes. I've got 4 positives here. First of all, is you're allowing a skilled player to get in space. You're going to turn this play really into not a whole lot you have to do up here, but drop, step, go, block what shows up. But you're going to allow a player to shine, all right? And most of you will have one good player at least that you want to do that with. The second thing that's good about a jet sweep, very simple up here, all right? You hardly ever will see somebody pull. Now, I'm going to show you the Green Bay Packers here later tonight, and they do it, but you're not coaching the Green Bay Packers unless somebody snuck on here I don't know about. All right, so, but the point I'm trying to make here is up front, very simple play to run, like I just said, drop, step, and go. Another positive, all right, is you're going to make the defense defend sideline to sideline. If you're playing on a normal field, 53 1/3 yards, that is a big deal now, particularly when you're coaching kids ages that you're coaching them. If you can make them defend sideline to sideline, you're doing something good right there. Now, once again, we draw all of our youth football plays, not necessarily to scale on the field, so don't let that get in your way here. But the other thing is that it also softens up the defense in the middle. If you make them think about defending sideline to sideline, you don't have everybody packed in like you do sometimes in youth football. Now, your challenges, once again, not every player is a jet runner. All right, don't try to make them one if they're not. It's a dangerous play because the ball can be on the ground if you don't practice it enough. All right, having said that, you cannot run the jet sweep unless you're willing to devote a lot of practice. And I'm talking about with your quarterback, your center, and the person getting the ball. All of this backfield mechanics right here can be hard to execute. And then finally is that you usually need to have a play or two. In this case right here, you can see where it's a dive opposite that comes off of it. So those are some positives and negatives, about the jet sweep. All right, now I'm showing you right here, and pretty simple, tight double wing formation. Let's go take a look at another youth formation here to where you can start opening it up a little bit. So you can go in this right here, we just call this slot formation. You notice once again over here, single wing. Also, the plays are not drawn to scale, so you don't have to, you're not going to have a short boundary over here like it's looking like right here. But now you're bringing motion. So let's take a look at this play from the backfield part of it. Everything is pretty much the same up here. Everybody can just turn and go. All right, now you do have a short edge out here, so there's no sense in going anywhere if you don't have to. So right now I've got the X coming in motion. The quarterback is going to take the snap, all right? And in this case right here, he is going to actually snap the ball to where he will have time, or she will have time to take it, turn opposite, and hand off with their right hand, in this case right here, to the X as they come underneath. So that motion might be very short. And what you need to do as you come in and you edit your plays, you need to look at the skill level you have, all right, and make it work for you in that situation. So here I'm going to the edit mode with FirstDown PlayBook. So if I wanted to, all I would do, if I just want to take really short motion right here and move my exchange back here, I can do that. All I would do is just have my quarterback take the snap, turn weak. Your 4-back and your 2-back are doing the same thing. So guess what's going to happen? You should get a great pull if your linebackers right here, and then hand this ball off to the X coming over. Now, do you have to run the play that way? You do not. You can run the play just like this. You can run the play to where essentially the quarterback's going to take the snap, all right, and they're just going to hand the ball off. Your mesh point is going to be right here. Now, you can still do this with your 4-back and your 2-back, or your fullback and your tailback, because 9 times out of 10, these backers are going to be looking in the backfield. They'll see that happening right there, all right? So this ought to give you a good shot right here of, once again, getting the pull on the linebackers, but now you don't have 2 players running opposite each other, and that might help your exchange. The other thing it will help is you can let that guy come in motion, or that player come in motion a little bit more before you hand it off. Once again, nothing changes up here, but this showing you that how much work that's going to be. I've got the quarterback in a pistol here. All right, you can put them in the gun or whatever, but you need to make sure that this timing is worked over and over and over again. Now, some other things that you can do, you can run it out of an unbalanced formation. What's the advantage of running? This is the same play I showed you at the beginning, but I bought a tackle over, all right, and then put another a tight end here, okay? So what's the advantage of doing that other than getting another big body on the edge out here? Well, the big thing is that if they don't adjust, you're gaining leverage out here with your formation, and you're getting a fast player on the edge. And you can put it on the left hash and give that player a lot more space to run out here. So just another way that you can look at running it out of some oddball formations. All right, now, as you get to the higher levels, all right, and once again, this will be, we've got people on here, I'm sure, that are coaching 11, 12, 13-year-olds. We've got some on here that are coaching 7, 8 years old. I would not run this with 6, 7, 8-year-olds. But as you get to the, coaching 11, 12, 13, you can run the jet sweep, all right, and still take the same blocking scheme. You can look what's going on up front. Still not a whole lot of complication going on there. But notice what's going on at the point of attack, all right? They're not even concerned if they block the end or not. That's what that diamond means on it right there. Never have to be concerned about blocking the backside end, because the jet runner will be past them before the ball, really is snapped right now. But up here, you just want to get a hat on a hat and try to make sure that you don't let somebody just come scot-free right here. But what you're going to teach your offensive line is to really, once again, drop and go. If you encounter a defensive lineman, you want to block them, try to get outside leverage. If you don't encounter a defensive lineman, get to next level. If you follow those rules across the board, you're going to get a hat on a hat and hold these players up enough to where the jet runner is long gone before they ever get upfield. Now let's take a look at the play side end in this case right here. How can they turn the play side end loose? Well, kind of the same thing. 9 times out of 10, this defensive end will be reading, all right, either that tackle or that end as you get to the higher levels. They're going to actually read that hat. If you get in a situation where you've got them doing that, you can run this play. Now, if you've got defensive ends and you're playing somebody that's running straight up the field, don't run it this way, all right? Or make sure you tell your tight end tackle to get a hat on that end before they go to the next level. But once again, understand this play is predicated on motion, great execution back here to where this play is gone. Even if he's upfield, all right, he may not make the play. I'll show you at the NFL level that can happen. Now, once again, it's a lot of different things you could do at this at the higher levels. You can also throw a screen out here off of it, throw a screen backside off of it. So we'll get to some of those looks here later. Now, here is a look that's a little bit different for you guys that are coaching older players, all right? If you're coaching 12, 13-year-olds or 11, 12, 13-year-olds, you can run the scheme away from the jet, meaning that right now what I've got is a 2-back set, all right? Quarterback under the center, going to fake away from the jet runner, a fake, and now a hand to the jet runner. Notice that the play side end, once again, is unblocked, and even though the offensive line is blocking away from the jet runner. The reason you can do that, cheat your fullback up and out, and that fullback can check. If that end comes upfield, he'll block him. If the end squeezes down inside, he'll just go next level and get on the wheel backer. So it gives you a way of just running a different scheme, all right? But once again, I would not run this with 6, 7, 8-year-olds, but maybe if I got to, older players with 11, 12, 13-year-olds. Okay, now, even with flag football, and I know we have flag football coaches on here every week, the jet sweep can be a big part of your offense, because typically, and this is a 5v5 play right here, with flag football, you cannot run your quarterback a lot of the time. So what you need to do is you need to create options for your quarterback at the flag level. And the way you do that is, once again, bring a player in motion, let the jet runner be the primary person that you might hand it off to. But you either hand it off to the jet, but at the same time, teach your quarterback. You see where this is a very unbalanced type formation for 5v5 flag. You've got 1, 2, 3 receivers on one side of the ball and your quarterback in the shotgun. So right now, what you're telling your quarterback is essentially, if they put everybody over here and play man coverage, which they may very well do, maybe put one person over here to cover the edge, your Z comes in motion and you get a one-on-one situation, hand the ball off on the jet. If they keep another player over here, all right, let me just go ahead and get rid of the notes here for a second. Let me try to get rid of the notes for a second. Anyway, once you get over here and if they have 2 players over here, then what you want to do is fake the jet, roll out to the right, and now it becomes a pass play. All right, so you're throwing the F to the center. Once again, your quarterback can't run. If they're covered, then he just has to throw it away. But just the point we're trying to make right here is that you've got an opportunity to make this into a jet play, even in flag football as well. All right, let's take a look at a couple clips of film here. Let's take a look at this first, the drawing. All right, this is the Packers, and they're playing, I believe it's the 49ers. And once again, here's something that you're going to see on TV that you probably don't want to do. You probably do not want to pull a lineman. Now, but the reason I put this on here, I want you to look at this. I'll point out to this lineman exactly what he's doing on the play. I mean, he's looking in the backfield the whole way. He understands that if he doesn't get out of the way, that he's about to have a much better athlete that's going to run past him in a hurry. And you also notice that this play is run on like the 3-yard line to where there's not a lot that he can do to get in the way for 3 yards. But look at what everybody else is doing. And what they've done, they've created a down, around situation at the point of attack. But everybody on the backside, if you watch this play when I show it to you here in a second, is going. They're just going the next level, going the next level. Now, the NFL and college and even some high schools, you're going to get a lot of window dressing, all right, before. But the big point back here, I want you to look at the speed that this play is run. And I want you to look at what Rodgers does with the ball, how quickly he never even takes the snap. He actually bats it. He actually bats the snap to 17 as he comes across. Let's see if we can go back over here and find this play. Okay. All right, hold 1 second here. Apologize for the radio in the background. I forgot about that. So 17 comes across. Watch what he does with the ball right here. And I'm just trying to show you the execution. As you're watching things on TV, you're not going to be able probably to get that done with a 7 or 8-year-old. Okay, now let's look at the blocking at the point of attack. Now in this situation here, they had a pretty good beat on the 49ers where they knew they were going to get a down scheme. But look at what's going on right here. You've got a receiver blocking a linebacker. So they have a pretty good idea that they're not going to get much on that block, right? But they don't care because they know the jet is going to be past him so quickly that he won't be able to make the play. In fact, you've got 2 receivers blocking 2 bigger players because all they need to do is really get a piece. Now, you also can see where 49ers are trying to bump everybody across to get an extra player over there. That's where the Packers have got, watch the left tackle and look at the left guard. They're both almost illegal. They're so deep. But watch the ball snapped and watch how soon the left tackle goes. He's almost off sides. But the big point is what is similar to what you're going to do is you're getting on the perimeter out here. Now let's watch the end zone copy of it so we can watch the offensive line. All right, so let's watch all these players back here. Now that's the technique that you're probably going to teach. Watch the right tackle. Watch this guy right here. Just turn and run. Drop that near step and go. Because all you have to do is get a piece of them now. And that'll be true. That'll be the same thing for your league. All right, let's watch another one here. Okay, so this is Kansas City with Tyreek Hill. Now, a lot of window dressing going on, just trying the formation. Now, one of the reasons that I picked this one right here is because it is a tight formation. I mean, this right here will be the same, in my opinion, what you should run if you've got younger players. You don't need to have it to where you're bringing them, full speed in motion and making your quarterback time it up. So let's see what happens here. This is in the championship game. So right from there, kind of the same thing. Watch how Mahomes has the ball, it's like it's a hot potato, right? But that's the timing that they have to have at that level. Now, the other things that I want you to look at are this. I want you to look at the fact that the back comes in between Mahomes and Hill. So these are the kind of things in the backfield that, you know, you have to be very careful about. If you've got younger players, you don't need to do that because you won't have to get the, you know, the pull on the defense that they do. So let's look at them at the point of attack. Now, look at what the left tackle does here. All he knows he has to do is get a piece and now go next level. And that's not unusual. Of course, Tyreek Hill's Tyreek Hill, but a lot of teams will do that. You don't necessarily have to block the end very long if your jet runner is going to, you know, get out on the edge fast enough. All right, let's take a look at the end zone. All right, once again, look at 58 right here for the Titans. Just get enough of him. Not going to make the play on that player right there. Now, you're going to probably have to get more on that player. But you can look, and there's a couple players not blocked at point of attack. Now, because this play starts in tight, you know, they are more conservative, trying to make sure that they don't allow penetration in the A-gaps right here because you don't have the advantage of that speed coming in motion and all that. Okay, let me go back. I've got one of our diagrams this week set up as a working diagram where we can come in and answer your questions. Right now, I'm just going to finish it up and just try to talk about just a few things, you know, from your standpoint. If you want to start getting your questions to Kendall, go ahead, and I'll answer them as we get going right here. Now, once again, the big points, I'm trying to check my notes that I made today, is that with your receivers, okay, you're better off really trying to run it over here to single width. I think I mentioned that. You can run it out here with a receiver, you know, wide, but really what you're going to do, if you do that now, you're going to make that receiver have to hold that block for a long time. And what's the sense of trying to outflank your defense if you're going to have a player out there? Okay, so now the other parts is that your jet runner, if I'm coaching the jet runner here from a technique standpoint, they don't need to necessarily be worried about anything but getting the exchange. They don't have to read the defense here. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to take the exchange and they're going to get to the edge, all right? And that's not going to change at all. So make sure that you talk to the X right here, whether it's a pitch or whether it's a handoff, whatever. You get the ball, you get the exchange before anything else happens, particularly at your level that you're coaching. Because if they get where their eyes are all out here somewhere, once again, that ball is going to be on the ground. Once again, I'm just checking my notes. Now, there are some things, you know, other ways that you can run this play. You can run this play as the quarterback, and I thought I had that up. I might not have. Let me look here and see. You can run the play as an option type play, all right, to where essentially the jet runner becomes like an option pitch, and your quarterback runs inside as a dive. And so really what a quarterback would be doing, he would be reading, or she would be reading the end man on the line of scrimmage. If the end crashed down, they would give the jet, all right? If the end played wide, they would run the inside part of it like a dive or maybe even a power. And a lot of teams in college are running that right now with the jet runners. A lot of things you can do with it, like I mentioned before. But once again, if I'm you, what I would do is try to keep it simple. Kendall, we have any questions yet?
Yes, this one is coming from Scott. How would you line up for the jet if running the double wing out of shotgun?
All right, let's go back over here. So did you say Scott, Kendall? I can't barely hear you.
Yes, Scott.
Okay. All right, Scott, well, let's go in here. Let's edit this. So if I was in the double wing, and I think what you're asking is about what type of backfield action would you use? And it's a good question. It really is, because if you're in a double wing, I mean, from the standpoint, you could really do it almost. Once again, I'm not trying to say you'll do it exactly like them, but what you could do, one way would be to put your back here. All right, if you're in a shotgun, you're still gonna have a back somewhere. I don't know if you're gonna have them here. If you put them in a pistol, you can almost do it the same way. Okay, but the thing that you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to have some type of action where it's flatter, where he doesn't get in the way. Or, right, you can put them up here like in a shotgun, and then you can fake across late. Just almost the same thing that the Chiefs did right there. But you could take the ball, snap it, flip it to your 3 underneath, but then your 4 could come late and still get the hold right here, particularly on this backer right here. You end up holding. So that's really, when you're tight like that, Scott, that's really going to be about your options. Once again, what you don't want to do probably is have the back over to this side, because there's not a whole lot you can do with it. So the back is either going to be in the home position, if you don't want to do it in the pistol, and you could still do this. You could still do that, but I don't know if I would. I think I would have the jet runner go first and the 4 back go second. You won't get quite as much pull like you do when the 4 goes first here. All right, but really probably the best thing would be to put them there and bring him in between. But what happens then is that you do not have all the same plays out of your double wing that you did before. So it's going to be one of those two, home or offset week. Kendall?
This question comes from Michael. I am coaching 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. Would it be wise to show them how to chip block, or should I just have them block head to head? I will be facing a 5 or 6 front.
Okay, well, this is a 6 front right here. So, Michael, my point would be this. I would say that for 5 and 6-year-olds, there is something to be said for dropping your step. Let's just take this player right here. Footwork. You drop your play side foot, all right, and put it in the ground, and then bring your next foot with you and go block whatever shows up. There's something to be said for that, even for players at your age, because what's going to happen is with the jet sweep, they're going to get in somebody's way if they all do that. There's an old I forget what it's called. It's like Pigs on Parade or something like that. We used to talk about the offensive line, kind of tease them, because sometimes that's what it is. It's just, if your blocking scheme looks like this, I may have done this before, a couple of weeks before. Your blocking scheme looks like everybody just go and make sure that, you don't lose the guy on this side. You lose them on that side. So I would say that, from a simplicity standpoint, it's a pretty good play to run with your youth offense. Just make sure that you probably want to get a hat on the widest guy. Now, the other thing is that back here, that's where, Michael, be careful back here. That's where all your work has to go, because if you're not careful, that ball's going to be on the ground. Any others, Kendall?
Not right now, but make a couple announcements. As Charlie mentioned, the recording of this webinar, along with all of our past youth football Chalk Talk webinars, are inside FirstDown PlayBook for our members. This one will be ready by tomorrow afternoon and can be found inside the youth offensive section if any of you want to go back and rewatch. If you are a youth football commissioner, please feel free to spread the word about these future webinars to your coaches. We have them every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I know a lot of you are already members, but if you aren't as familiar with FirstDown PlayBook, we are the official playbook of USA Football. We have a database of over 35,000 football plays, all with coaching points and player assignments for every position. All of our plays are editable using our play engine that Charlie was working on today, or you're able to draw your own from scratch. You can easily print wristband sheets right from your playbook as well. There were some pictures of that in the slideshow early on. We have both 90-day and annual memberships available. Youth 90-day season memberships are $99.99, and annual subscriptions are just $199.99. For joining us tonight, you can get 10% off using the coupon code that I'm sending in the chat right now. So you can head there to get that 10% off on any membership. And we just had another question come in from Aaron. Do you have a recommended play action off of the jet sweep, single back?
Okay, a play action off of the jet sweep. Well, I think that if you look at the jet sweep, Aaron, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a lot of pull, obviously, over here. So to me, if I was going to throw a play action, and I've seen this before, what you might want to do is this right. Ooh, what did I do? I don't know if I must not be in, yeah, I'm not in edit mode here. Let me get back over here to edit mode. What you might want to look at is something like what I was talking about over here. Faking the back opposite, right? And once again, I'm in this formation. Don't have to be in this formation. But take your back, fake them opposite, and then throw the ball. It's almost like a screen, but throw it this way. Now, it's not the only thing you could do. You could obviously, take something and throw it over the middle. But to me, in youth football, what's going to happen is it's going to be go, 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 run to the sweep. You've got a pretty good chance of getting your back, or maybe even something, in this situation right here, unbalanced, you've got the tackle's eligible, but you could run some kind of corner route or something like that if you wanted to as well. But I would look to do something, obviously, away from the jet sweep. Anything else, Kendall? Kendall?
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay. Leroy asked, can you fake the jet sweep and hand it off to the fullback? Will it work?
Yeah, of course you can. And I'm sorry, who asked the question, Kendall?
Leroy,
I was looking at, when I was doing my research today, Kendall came to mind as I was doing it. I mean, I'm seeing so many different things that people do off of it. And a lot of teams at the college and NFL level and plays that we've drawn up do exactly what you're talking about. That's the part of, Leroy, one of the things that I think that it's important that you do need to, let's go back underneath the center right here. All right, what we started with. And I think that, yeah, you do need to have the plays. You can't just, you can't just take a play and expect it to be good just on its own. All right, you always have to have counter plays. We talk about that here every week. And so what I would do is I would always make sure that I had a play that my jet sweep came off of, but at the same time, every now and then you need to run that play. All right. And you need to, and that play might be something opposite like you're talking about right there. So to answer your question, absolutely. Now, Leroy, what happens is you have a jet sweep, you have a play off a jet sweep. We just talked about a play action pass. That's okay. They all need to come off of one another, but make sure that you don't look up one day and you got 38 plays. You don't want to have too many plays. Kendall?
Kevin asked, what's a good way to signal motion at a fourth grade level? For example, lift a foot or a verbal cue from QB.
Well, you have the advantage. Who asked the question, Kendall? I'm sorry.
Kevin,
you have the advantage of not having, 90,000 in the stadium. In fact, they might not have that problem this year. But yeah, I think a verbal cue is okay. But I also believe that, Kevin, keep this in mind. It's not just, in this case right here, I'm going to put let's go back over here and look at this one right here. It's not just the quarterback and the X that you need to worry about. It's your center, okay? And that's a note I had down here that I kind of went right over. Sometimes your center can, he can get to where he snaps it when he wants to. Well, this is the deal where when you're coaching this play right here, that cat right there, he needs to understand that your quarterback is in charge. If you're going to use motion, all right, he says he needs the ball. He needs the ball now, all right? It's not negotiable. If you don't have your blocking calls all made and something looks funky, then that's just the way this play is going to be, because that ball must be snapped, all right? Now, so that when you're sitting here, let's just say different scheme, just using that one we just had, right? So that's why, to me, you need to go, this play right here, I'm trying to show you is this play right here. If I'm practicing it, I'm practicing it with these guys right here, these players right here, all right? And the reason is because, and what might not be any defense in there. The reason is because these players right here, they've got to be a well-oiled machine. I don't care what age you're coaching. So if you're going to do it out of this backfield right here, all right, then the quarterback needs to understand he better cheat up. He got to get the heck out of the way. The center needs to understand that when the quarterback asks for the ball, he needs it now. This guy right here needs to understand whether he reaches up with his left hand and brings him with it, just says, come on, or if he does his left foot, or if he, like you said, he says, come on, or whatever your cue would be, it doesn't matter. What's important is that everybody here understands that they're not on an island. This thing all works in the backfield, the most complicated part of it, because it all works on timing, and everybody has to do what they do when they're supposed to do it. Kendall?
Those are all the questions we have so far.
Okay, two things I want to mention that, and I hope you, what Kendall talked about there, you jotted down. One is that I think most of you know this already. We have a free demo out there. I mean, it's absolutely free. And so, it gives you a chance not only to look at what we do on First Down Playbook, but you get to put your hands on it. You get to do exactly what I'm doing right here. You may even do it better than I'm doing as far as drawing and editing and all that. So once again, you need to understand that. Just go to any of our social media or whatever, the coaches community site that I was talking about, and you'll be able to find that. And then the second thing is that some of you, COVID's still very real out there. And I understand a lot of you are wondering if you're going to play or whatnot. And, Kendall told you about the 90-day, but I think it's important to understand if something happens, we've got policies in place to work with you. But, if you ever leave, all right, and come back, let's say something happened and you went in and you started creating your playbooks this year and we shut it down and we didn't play. I hope that doesn't happen. I know you hope it doesn't happen. But if you came back next year, all your stuff is still in the playbook. We never erase anything in anybody's playbook. So just keep that in mind. But there's a lot of stuff, gang. We don't have enough time to tell you how much we do at First Down Playbook. So, get to the coaches community site, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, every single day, bar none. We do something on all those social media sites, and we're always telling you what's going on. So, and then, Kendall does the best job of anywhere that I've seen anyway of customer service. So you can always just call us up and ask if you got questions. Are we done, Kendall?
Nope, we got one more question from Terry. Speaking of center QB and back timing, how much time should the center practice with the backs versus the line?
Well, that's a hard position because he needs to work with that guard too, right? I mean, that position right there has got to work with both. So, once again, at the very beginning, you say Terry, Kendall?
Yep.
Terry, at the very beginning, I said there's a lot more to this play than meets the eye, even at the youth level. And that's one of the things right there, because your offensive line, they need to go. But I would make sure my center got some work with the offensive line, obviously, because they need to be getting off on the snap count too and running together. But this is a special play to where, maybe it's only going to be 3 people, maybe it's going to be 4, whatever. But he needs to understand that when the quarterback wants the ball, he's got to make sure he gets it to him. Anything else, Kendall?
That's all.
Well, gang, I appreciate it. Once again, this is week 7. Every one of these, all right, and I'll just show you since I've got you on here. Every one of these is on our website. And so as you go in to the First Down Playbook website and you go to find a play, and you're going to go to the offense you can go to the offense or the defense in the youth. I'll just go to the offense. And you go down here to specials. All right. I went to the varsity, didn't I? I'm sorry. Let's just go to the youth defense right here. And what you're going to find is all of our, you'll have a drawing in there, but if you go in and you open them up, and you go up to the notes section, that webinar is in there. So if you've had to miss one or two, like Kendall said earlier, they're all right here in the website. We'll make sure at the end of it, there'll be 10 of them. And I don't even remember what we've got going on next week, but we've got 3 more weeks of this. So we appreciate you being here. Everybody have a good week and stay safe.